Okay, you guys. Here's looking at you, kid. Look what I have. Well, it's not morning. It's actually 4:30. So maybe 4:30. Yeah, 4:30. So here's looking at you, kid. My limoncello. Oh, mamma mia. As many of you know, I have a TikTok channel. I got 1.8 million views on how to make limoncello. You better go look at it. TikTok, Velma Hagar. 1.8 million, you guys. Is that wild? I also have a full limoncello video on my YouTube. So if you're subscribed to YouTube, go there and look at it. That's the full one. The other one is in two parts. So, okay. And it doesn't have near as many on YouTube, you little suckers. But what the hey. Okay. I had something, a story. I'm going to tell you a story. Yesterday I had one of my friends over, and he was telling me that the story that I had shared about my Mercedes was such a good story, and he had never heard anything like it. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to share that with you guys. I know that some of you have probably heard it before, but you're going to hear it again. You know, God provides for us sometimes in the strangest ways. Like, I always love the place in the Bible where the prophet, the ravens brought him food. And that's a strange way for God to provide for you, is to have the prophets bring you food. By the way, this is Velma Hagar. It's 111 today. Look how I'm dressed. I'm dressed very tacky, but very cool, okay? Okay, so strange ways that God provides. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you this story, and I'm going to kind of be brief in some areas so I can get to the real meat of it. When I was 35, I had 3 children. The children were 15, 14, and 9, and their father decided to leave. He ran off with another woman and left us. And he left me with no money and no child support. And so I was in a very bad predicament. I did have a little dress shop that was working. It was not working in the black. It was working in the red. But it was a small little dress shop that we just started. And that's what I had. I didn't work. I didn't have any other income. And the shop wasn't making a living. And I also had a leased car. And he left in October, and the lease was up on the car in February. And I didn't have any credit of my own. I didn't have anything. I didn't have any money, nothing. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm at a place where I'm going to have to find another car that I can afford. And so I'm in this little shop that I have, and I'm telling one of my friends. And there's another woman in there at the time, and she says, "What kind of a car are you looking for?" And I go, "Oh, I don't know, just something I can afford." And she goes, "Why don't you buy my little Mercedes out here?" And I go, "I couldn't afford a Mercedes." I say to her. She goes, "Well, how much can you afford?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred a month." She said, "My car has only got, it's 4 years old, and it's got 19,000 miles on it." And she said, "Well, can you put anything down?" And I say, "Not really." And she said, "Well, I'll tell you what. You take that little car and you pay me $200 a month." Well, she dropped it right in my lap. So I end up with this little Mercedes, to make a long story short. I drove the car for 13 years. And as time, and she came in every month and got her $200 and then paid it right back to me as she bought something in the dress shop. This is before I had the shoe store. So this little car, let me tell you what happens with this thing. I drive it for 13 years, and I only had like 60,000 miles on it when I turned it in. And it was 4 years old when I got it. I had it for 13 years, so you do the math. And it had like 50, 60,000. I think I had like 56,000, something like that, when I traded it in. But in the meantime, after I've had it for 3 years, she comes to me and says, "Could you maybe get a little loan on it, because I'm leaving town." And by this time I'd built up a little credit. And so I go to the bank and I get the money I need to pay her off. And so I pay her off. I think I ended up paying about $10,000 for the car altogether. So by this time, the shop, I think I have the dress shop, the shoe store moving along now, because I refinanced the house and I get the money to buy the shoe store, and I end up with a little shoe store. And the shoe store is making a little money. So every season, I pay this. I got $4,000 in the bank on the car. I pay the $4,000 off in the season. And when summer came, oh my gosh, we might go 10 days without a sale. I was just destitute in the summertime. Never knew how I was going to make a living. For these 3 kids, and I have 3 kids. And I stayed in the house we had, and the payment was only $300 a month. So every summer thereafter, until I got rid of that car, I would go to Bank of America and I'd get a loan against it for $4,000. Now, believe it or not, I could live on $4,000 all summer with my kids. I'd pay that, the house payment and the utility payments and food. $4,000 I would get every single summer. Then in the season, I'd pay the $4,000 off. And then I'd go back again in the summer and get the, I mean, it was like, until the day I traded the car in. When I traded it in, I don't think it was paid off. And I had it 13 years. But you know, I wanted to tell you that God provided. That little Mercedes was my summer money for years. He will always provide, but be innovative, be clever, figure things out. Think about, what can I do to make things work? I love side hustles. You know what a side hustle is? My daughter-in-law taught me this. It's doing something on the side over and above your regular job, or over and above if you don't work at all. You know, you have little, like maybe you clean somebody's house one day a week, or maybe you do someone's hair, or maybe you know, whatever it is you do, you sell Amway. A little side hustle that you can earn a little extra cash. Everybody's always hurting for money. You know what? I found a way. My God, I used to babysit for kids. I worked full time, and I had 3 kids. But I would do whatever I needed to do to keep my boat afloat. And you know what? If you keep doing that, eventually you can end up like I ended up. Look at me. I mean, here I am, guys. I got it made. I'm sitting on, I'm riding on a crest. I'm riding the crest. How was that? That was a good story, huh? And if you're faithful with what you had to do, God will make you ruler over much if you're faithful with a little. Don't you think this is wonderful? Every evening, I love to have a little glass of my limoncello. In the summer, it is so refreshing. Go watch my video. You're going to love it. And buy my book. Don't ask me about the glass. I'm going to tell you about the glass. I got these at a secondhand store. Everybody asked me about them. I got 8 of them. I have 3 left. They're very fragile, but I just absolutely adore them. Now, subscribe. See the little button down there that says subscribe? Hit it. Hit that button. You know, all my little yip-yoppers are coming over. Yip-yopper TikTokers. My little TikTokers are coming over to my YouTube. So I'm getting more people subscribing. Get my book, Hidden Treasures in Secret Places, and subscribe. And until next time, find yourself a side hustle. This is Velma Hagar, bidding you a blessed day. Bye.